Hello, guys. Good morning. Welcome to the session. Hope you guys are doing good. So, let us start the session. Give me 1 minute. So, what we have discussed is that in our previous sessions, we had created a data pipelines. We had created a data pipelines using using data proc, and we have also created the data pipelines using the data flow. Right? So by using both of these things, you can able to create the data pipelines. Okay. So after that, for example, you created your data pipelines using this one. So we have created a data pipelines using the data proc. We have also created our data pipelines using the data flow. But have we scheduled it? So for example, here we may be having some 10 pipelines. Here also we may be having some 10 pipelines. Okay. So have we scheduled it? Have we mentioned that this 10 pipelines has to run at this point of time? When it has to run? When it has to run? For the data flow, it is a serverless. We don't need to create a server. But the data proc is a cluster-based tool. And how we are creating the cluster? We are creating the cluster manually. We are creating cluster manually. Can I automate it? When I create the cluster, when I wanted to create it, for example, I wanted to create the cluster at this point of time. Can I create it? Yes, I can create the cluster. I can submit the job. I can delete the cluster. Likewise, for serverless, you don't need to create cluster or anything. You can directly submit the job when you need it, right? Whenever the time is, if you wanted to run this particular pipeline or 10 pipelines at this point of time, you can submit these particular 10 pipelines to the some tool. That tool we are calling as Airflow. All of these things can be done using the Airflow. Not only that, you can also do some ETL jobs using the Airflow. You can also do some ETL jobs, even if it is 10 also. If you wanted to schedule them also, you can do that. That means you can create it, you can schedule it, you can manage it, you can monitor it again using the Airflow. Okay, so this is what is Airflow, sir. This is what is Airflow. Airflow is nothing but a workflow orchestration tool. Airflow is nothing but a workflow orchestration tool. Workflow orchestration means this one only, this four. Workflow orchestration tool. What is meant by orchestration? Workflow orchestration. And with the same tool, you can create your pipelines. With the same tool, you can schedule the pipelines. You can monitor the pipelines. You can manage the pipelines. Even if something goes wrong, you can monitor it, right? Even if something goes wrong, also you'll be able to see the error and you can able to fix it easily. Okay, so that is what is airflow, sir. What is airflow? For us, it is not airflow, it is cloud composer. In the Google Cloud platform, we call it as a cloud composer. So let us try to understand. Cloud composer is a airflow managed service. Okay, airflow managed service. What does that mean, sir? It's a fully managed airflow service. Airflow environment, I can say. What does that mean, sir? See, if you go to on premises, you have an airflow environment. If you go to on premises, you have an airflow environment. Okay, and if you wanted to use the same airflow environment and you don't wanted to manage the infrastructure, because if you go to the airflow environment in the on premises, you have to take care of its own cluster. You have to take care of its own disk storage, backup, admin activities, everything. But with the cloud composer, it's a airflow managed service. You don't need to worry about any of these things because it's a fully managed service. Okay, so that's the advantage. And what is this one? It's a workflow orchestration tool. What does that mean, sir? Workflow orchestration means what? What, sir? Workflow orchestration means you can create the pipelines here, create pipelines, schedule pipelines, monitor pipelines, manage pipelines. Okay, so usually instead of calling all of these things, people usually call it as a orchestration, creating, scheduling, monitoring, managing. So instead of calling all of these things, people call it as an orchestration tool. In other words, you can create the pipelines, schedule the pipelines, monitor the pipelines, and manage the pipelines. Okay, so this is what it is. And sir, how we are going to create these pipelines? Sir, it's a Python based tool, I would say, service or tool, where if you wanted to do any of the above activity, any of this activity, if you wanted to do any of this activity, you have to do with help of the Python only. Okay, if you wanted to do any of this activity, you have to do Python only. So, but in the as per the nomenclature of Airflow, what is meant by pipeline, sir? What is meant by pipeline? Nothing but a workflow, right? Nothing but a list of tasks connected to the list of tasks connected to the, and usually here we call it as a DAG. Here we usually call it as a DAG. A DAG is nothing but a directed acyclic graph, is nothing but a pipeline, nothing but a workflow, nothing but a list of tasks connected together to achieve something. Okay, so usually the nomenclature as per the Cloud Composer or Airflow is DAG. Usually we don't call it as a pipeline here, you call it as a DAG. It's a nomenclature, that's it. Okay. So in the, when we are working with the, data procurement, we call it a job. Okay, we call it as a pipeline. We call it as a workflow. We call it as a DAG. Somewhere people usually call it as a recipe. Okay, all of these things are same. Okay, the only thing is that people call it with a different names. It's like that. You and me have our own names, right? Even though we are the humans, we have a different names. Okay, so likewise, here also we are creating the pipelines. Those pipelines are created using the Python based, and that pipeline name is nothing but a DAG. Okay, so this is what is one more thing. Okay, and let me talk about the DAG a bit more. Let me talk about the DAG a bit more. A DAG is nothing but a DAG is nothing but a directed acyclic graph. Okay, it has its own characteristics, right? As we have our own names, even though we both are humans, we have our own names like that. Each pipeline has its own characteristics. Okay, each pipeline has its own characteristics, own behavior will be there. Okay, so let us see. Directed acyclic graph. What is mean by this one, sir? Let us try to understand. Directed acyclic graph. Directed means directly connected. Acyclic means no cyclic. Graph means relationship between the each of the task. Okay, usually what is a DAG, sir? A DAG is nothing but a list of task workflow pipeline, a list of tasks, right? So those list of tasks should be directly connected. And those list of tasks should not be in a such a way that it should not create a cyclic process. It should not create a cyclic manner. It should be a acyclic, no cyclic process. And those list of tasks will also have some kind of a relationship between them. Okay, directly connected from left to right. That means one task to another task to one more task, there will be a connection. And acyclic means no cyclic process. Graph means relationship. Let me tell you a simple DAG. Task 1, task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4. Is it a DAG or not? Can you guys tell me? So I'm going to use bit shift operator here instead of this one. Can anyone tell me, is this a DAG or not? It's a DAG. Yes, because it's all the tasks are directly connected by a one more task. Yes. Acyclic, there is no cyclic process because you see it's a straightforward. After task 1, task 2 will start. So the graph, there is a relationship. If the task 2 has to start, task 1 has to be completed. If the task 3 has to start, task 2 has to be completed. There is a relationship between them. So it's a valid DAG. It's a valid DAG. Okay, and I'm going to create one more thing and tell me task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4. Is it a valid DAG or not? Anyone? Can, it's a valid or not? It's a valid, yes. Again, you see, You have a task one. Once the task one is completed, both the task two and task three will start. Once the both the task two and task three is completed, then task four will start. Okay. And one more thing. Can you guys tell me, is it a valid DAG or not? Is it valid? Now tell me which task will start first. Yes. So you do not know which task will start first because it's a cyclic, right? But as per the DAG definition, it should not be cyclic. So it should be acyclic. Then, but it is implying it is a cyclic process. Then it's not a DAG. Okay. So that's what. So you have to understand whether it is a DAG or not. So this kind of a questions you can expect in the interviews. Okay. So they're going to give you some kind of a things, and you can able to see whether it is DAG or not. Because as per the definition of the DAG, you should understand each task will be connected via one more task, and there should not be any cyclic process like this, and there will be a relationship between between the task. Okay, yeah. So this is one thing, and if you can look at here, once the task one is completed, task two and task three are parallel, starting at the same time, right? So this kind of task also we will see in our upcoming sessions. Don't worry. Now this is what is a DAG, sir. What is a DAG now? A DAG is nothing but a workflow or nothing but a pipeline. Okay, a DAG is nothing but a workflow or a pipeline where each task is directly connected to the one more task, and the process should not be that the process should not be cyclic, and there will be a relationship between the each of the tasks. Okay, so this is what is nothing but a DAG definition, and we are going to create these kind of a DAGs only. Okay, this kind of a tags only we are going to create it. This should be clear. And now, what is composer, sir? A composer is a airflow managed service. Airflow managed service. It is a fully managed workflow orchestration tool. Nothing but creating the pipelines, scheduling the pipelines, monitoring the pipelines, managing the pipelines. It's a Python environment, and where we are going to use the Python for creating the pipelines. And a pipeline is nothing but a workflow, nothing but a list of DAG. A DAG is nothing but a directed acyclic graph, nothing but a pipeline only. So proper definition of the DAG is here. Proper definition of the DAG is here. Okay. Yeah. Sir, this is fine. How to create the DAG? The next question is how to create the DAG. Okay. So if you wanted to create the DAG, okay, let us look at that. Before that, I wanted to give you the airflow architecture. The architecture, what are the main components in the airflow, and then we will see how to create the DAG later. Okay. The main components in the airflow. So there are actually four main components in the airflow, sir. One is, the two is, and the three is, and the four is. Okay, and the five is. Okay, like this. So assume that we have like total four main components. One is scheduler. Next one is executor. Metadata database. Metadata database. It's a MDB. I will say metadata database. I'm calling this a MDB. Okay, metadata database. Okay. Fourth component is web server. Okay, web server. Okay, now this is our DAG folder. This is our DAG folder. Now what will happen, sir? I'm going to keep it here, the DAG folder. Okay, this is your DAG folder. What will happen is that you as a person using Python, using the Python, you create the DAGs. You use Python language and you create the pipelines and you upload those pipelines to this folder. Okay, because this is nothing but a DAGs only, right? You create the DAGs using the Python, right? You create the DAGs using the Python. Those things you are going to keep it here. DAG 1. It runs at some point of time like 1 a.m. DAG 2. It runs at 2 a.m. DAG 3. Or you will mention somewhere, maybe you can just mention 3 a.m. Something like this. Okay, assume something like this. You have 3 DAGs, nothing but the 3 pipelines. And you're gonna be, once you create your pipelines, you're gonna pushing it to the DAG folder. Okay, a DAG folder is where a DAG folder is nothing but where we are going to keep our DAGs and which is connected to the scheduler automatically. Okay, which is connected to the scheduler automatically. Now, what scheduler will do? Scheduler will keep an eye on the DAG folder. Scheduler will always keep an eye on the DAG folder and it will check the DAGs whether they are, if for example it is 1 a.m. and as per the scheduler, when it is looking at the DAG folder, there is a one DAG 1 has to be run at this point of time. So it will always ensure that each DAG is running at the scheduled time. So it will pick that particular pipeline as per the schedule and it will submit that to the executor for the execution purpose. Okay, so it will submit that particular DAG to the executor for the execution purpose. Okay, so each executor will have a number of workers. Worker 1, worker 2, worker 3. You can think of like a node 1, node 2, node 3. Nothing but a machines. Okay, you can select a number of machines also. It's your wish. Okay, executor will have its own machines. Okay, so whenever the DAG came to here, right? So now the DAG 1 came to here for the execution purpose. So that DAG 1 will have its own task. Each pipeline will have its own task. Like DAG 1 is nothing but this one, task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, right? All the tasks will be completed in the workers. All the tasks will be completed in the workers. These we are calling as these are the workers. Okay, workers. Okay, so executor will closely work with the workers to ensure that the entire DAG is completed within the stipulated time. Okay, so this is where the scheduler will pick up the DAGs as per the scheduled time from the DAG folder and it will submit to the executor for the execution purpose. And the executor is like your manager now. What this will do, this manager will keep working with his employees to ensure that that particular pipeline is completed or not. So executor is like a manager, workers are like the developers. And what they do, they're going to be completing the execution of this thing. And the executor will ensure that the task is going to be executed properly. Okay. And that is where the execution will be completed. DAG execution will be completed. And all of this status will be stored here in the metadata database. All of that status will be stored in the metadata database where the entire DAG action, status, whatever the activity will be doing, right? The scheduler, executor, all of those things, the executor and as well as the scheduler activity will be stored in the metadata database as a log. So all the logs will be stored here. All the activity logs will be stored here of the scheduler as well as the executor. Okay, so this is what it is. And what is a web server? Sir, web server is a UI tool. Web server is a UI tool where you can able to, the humans can able to, the developers can able to see how many tags we have, which DAG is running, and which task is running inside the DAG. You will be able to see. Assume like this. For example, you have this many 3 DAGs. I will copy it to here. And out of these 3 tasks, 3 DAG, sorry. Why this came here? Task 1, task 2, task 3. Okay, so sorry, DAG 1, DAG 2, DAG 3. Inside this one, assume that it has some, assume that task 1, task 2 is there. For this particular thing, task 1, task 3 is there. For DAG 1, you have a task 1, task 2. Likewise, you have a task 1, task 2, task 3. Okay. And for this one, you have a task 1 and task 2 only. Okay. This is how the task will be in the each pipeline. Right. This is how the task will be in the each pipeline. Now, the user are very interested because the developers are very interested that which DAG is running or which DAG is running. So if this is DAG is running or this DAG is running, which DAG? For example, assume that this DAG is running. Assume that this particular DAG is running. This particular DAG is running. And if this DAG is running, what does that mean, sir? Inside that one of the task is running. Okay, that means if this task is running or this task is running, this task is running. Assume that this task is running and it was successful. You will be able to see green color. The color coding will be there. And if this task is running, you will be able to see some kind of orange color. That means it is in progress. It is in progress. Some orange or some color, you will be able to see. That means it is in progress. It is still running. And once that it is running and it is failed, you will be able to see red color mark because the task has failed. Okay. And if this is also running successfully, then you will be able to see green color mark. Okay. Sir, no. It was failed. The task 2 was failed. So it is failed where I can see the logs and how to fix the error. Then you can click on this task 2 and you will be able to see logs here. And once you click on the logs, you will be able to see the log activity, the entire activity information of that you will be able to see. And you can able to see the errors also here. Okay. And if you see the log entries, you will be able to see the errors and you can able to easily fix that. So you can able to easily fix it. And that fix is nothing but again, you come to here and you do this, you upload it. Once you fix it, right? So that's what the logic is this one. You fix the errors or you create your pipelines. And once you create it, automatically you will be pushing it to that folder. Again, it will be running in the scheduler. So that is how it will work, sir. So this is what is a web server. Okay, so this is how the web server looks like. And now you got it, the idea behind the scheduler as well as executor also. Okay, how the scheduler will work? Scheduler will keep an eye on the DAG folder. Whenever the new DAG came into the picture, it will try to provide that information to the, it will try to pick up that DAG and it will try to submit the DAG to the executor. Executor will closely work with the workers and each DAG will be completed. Each execution of the DAG will be completed in the executors only, and it will be taken care by the task will be executed in the workers, and it will be taken care by the executor. All the activity related to the scheduler executor will be stored in the metadata database. And web server is nothing but a user interface tool where you will be able to see each DAG and status and whether it is failed, or you will be able to see the logs and you'll be able to see the errors and you will be able to fix it. Okay, so this is what is the Airflow architecture. Okay, in Airflow architecture, main four components: scheduler, executor, web server, metadata database. And that folder is also one more component, but it's not a main component. It's also one more component. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, now I will go. I have already created the composer environment because it actually takes at least 30 minutes, 20 minutes at least. So that's the reason I have created the environment already. If you guys have to create the environment, you can click on this create, click on the composer one. Okay, you can give a name, you can give a location, you can give automatically the versions will be the image version composer one. I mean recent versions are 2.4.3. Node count, as I told you, how many nodes you have to, how many workers, and zone, machine type, disk size, service account, tags. If you give this information, automatically the environment gets created. Okay, likewise, only I have created my environment. Okay, once the environment is created, see, you will be able to see here. This is your environment name. This is the location. This is the composer version. This is the Airflow version. Composer is Google Cloud Platform. Airflow is on-prem tool, Apache Airflow. It has created at this time, updated at this time. Airflow web server, someone wanted to look at it. DAG list, the list of the DAGs someone wanted to see. Metadata database logs, someone wanted to see. DAG folder, someone wanted to see. All the things are here. For example, let me open DAG folder. I have clicked on here and clicked on open new tab. See here, what is a DAG folder, sir? A DAG folder is where we are going to keep the DAGs. But when the composer is created, composer has created its own bucket for its operational purpose. That bucket is having the DAGs. Okay, composer has created his own bucket. The bucket name is this one, and it has created some of the plugins, logs, all of this activity here. And this is nothing but this bucket is only for the operational purpose of the Airflow. And one of the folder is DAGs, and you can keep the DAGs here. You can keep the DAG here. See, one of the DAG is already here. It was created by the Airflow, sir. For your test or sample purpose, it was created. That means, sir, if this is here, I can able to see this particular Airflow DAG in my Airflow web server. Of course, yes, right? We should be able to see this one. Okay. That means I will go to the Airflow web server, click on the Airflow web server, and select the account. Select your Google account, sir, for authentication. See here, one of the sample DAG. Who has created? Who is the owner of the DAG? Airflow is the owner, right? And you will be able to see some metadata like runs, schedule, when it is scheduled. Every 10 minutes it is scheduled. Last run, next run, everything is here. Go inside it. Go inside this DAG. See here, it has only one task. It has only one task, that is echo. Okay, it has only one task, that is echo. Sir, if you wanted to see, this is, there are four views, there are three views, sir. One is grid view, one more is graph view, one more is calendar view. Okay, mostly people are using the grid view only, using the grid view. And as I told you, color coding will be there, right? You see here, this is the color coding. Okay, so for example, here the tasks are dark green color. Now what does that mean? So somewhere here the success. If it is red color, failed. If it is this one queued, means gray color. Restarting, pink. Running, light green. Scheduled, skipped. Upper schedule, upper retry. So all the information and its own color coding is here. Okay, so that's what it is. And if you wanted to manually trigger the DAG, you can click on this play button, trigger DAG. You can click on the play button and you can trigger the DAG. So you can also see here the scheduling information of this DAG and when it is going to run next. And if one is interested in the code, sir, what is the Airflow code of this particular thing? Click on this code. Okay, here it is. Here you have the code. Okay, so I'm going to tell you now itself, like how to create the DAG. We have stopped here, right? DAG definition we have seen. How to create the DAG, I'm going to tell you now. How to create the DAG. High level steps. High level steps, let me try to tell you. The very first thing is that import all the modules. Import all the modules. So whatever the modules you wanted to import, you wanted to import Airflow, DAG, some operators, some other datetime functions, whatever the thing you wanted to import it, you can import it here. Okay, import all the modules. Okay, after that, define the DAG. Whenever you're working in a company, even though you have a name, you will not be recognized as your name, you will be recognized as your employee ID. Right? Likewise, each DAG will be represented. Each DAG will be represented its own DAG ID. The DAG ID is the DAG name. Okay? DAG ID. And if you wanted to mention scheduling information or interval information or retreat details or owner details. Okay, if you wanted to mention all of these things, you can actually go for while you are defining the DAG, you can mention all of these details like DAG ID, scheduling information, interval, and retry and owner details. Next thing is the main important step is this one, defining the task, because a pipeline is nothing but a task only. Here you have to define your task. You can have a number of tasks, task 1, task 2, task 3. One important step I am going to talk here. Each task will be having its own task ID. Each task will be defined by the operator. Operator is the one which actually defines the task. Operator is the one which actually defines the task, sir. Each task will have its own operator. That means I would say task ID 1, task ID 2, task ID 3. And each operator will be different. Okay, so that is how each task will have its own task ID and own operator. Okay, so this is what operator is the one which actually defines your task. For example, sir, one of the operator I will tell you. Okay, give me 1 minute, I will tell you. And the final step is you have mentioned the task 1, task 2, task 3, and on which flow the task will be executed. Do you have mentioned the relationship? No, right? So you have to define the dependency here. Define the dependency. So for this particular task 1, task 2, task 3, the dependency, like I wanted to submit the task 1, next to task 2, next to task 3. So with the help of the bit shift operator, you are going to define your task. You are going to define the dependency. That means what is the dependency here? The task 1 will start first. As soon as the task 1 is completed, task 2 is start. As soon as the task 2 is completed, task 3 will start. So this is the defining the dependency. Okay, so this is how you have to do it. Again, this is the task information. This is how you have to define your task. Okay, so this is how you have to create your DAG, sir. Each DAG will have all of these 4 steps. Each DAG will have all of these 4 steps. I wanted to tell you about this operator. An operator, one of the example for operator is that GCS to BigQuery operator. GCS to BigQuery operator. Sorry. GCS to BigQuery operator. What it will do, sir? This operator, the name itself it is saying, if you have some kind of a file, okay, if you have some kind of a file in the GCS, one file is there in the GCS. If you wanted to move it to BigQuery as a table in BigQuery, you can use this particular operator. So you see here, the operator is the one actually telling you to what to do. Okay, so GCS to BigQuery operator is telling you to move. If you wanted to move your data from GCS to BigQuery, you can use this operator. The operator requires parameters. Each operator requires parameters. Okay, sorry. Each operator requires parameters. Let me gonna keep it here, and I'm gonna mention those parameters here. So what are the parameters, sir? So your source is this one. So you have to mention GCS path, GCS bucket name, and next file name. Okay, so this is the and project in which project this file exists, and what is the format of the file. All of those details you have mentioned. Okay, these are the parameters, the source. And likewise at the destination. If you wanted to move it to some BigQuery, what is your project again? What is your data set? To which data set you wanted to move? And what is the table name? And what is the schema of the tag? All of those details are also important. So these are the parameters expected for this particular BigQuery GCS to BigQuery operator. So these are the parameters we have to provide it. These are the parameters expected with this operator. Okay, this operator implies GCS to BigQuery, and if you wanted to mention with the help of the Python code, you have to provide all of these details. Okay, so this is what it is. Let us do one small task today, that is GCS to BigQuery operator, and then we will be trying to submit that to the. We will be trying to submit that to the Airflow, and we will see the behavior of it. Okay, so are we good? Anyone have any questions on this one? See, I am telling you, with the help of the Airflow, you can also create the ETL, right? So that ETL is this one. I am just telling you what is how the operator looks like. One of the operator is this one. It can move the data from GCS to BigQuery. Okay, yeah, and it can use. I mean, other pipelines are also there that can be managed. Other pipelines with the data flow can be managed, but with the ETL itself, the Airflow itself, you can use it as a ETL. See, data proc is ETL one, data flow is ETL two, Airflow can be a ETL, that is ETL three. Okay, so that's what the GCP has its own components in the big data perspective. Okay, yeah. Any other questions? Anyone? I'm going to create a one sample DAG and submit it to that. So how to create a DAG, and you are going to see it now. Okay, I am going to my VS Code Virtual Studio Code for creating the code. So I wanted to create some 1 minute. Level 1 DAG I wanted to create it. Okay, give me 1 minute, please. Okay, so let me click on it. So I wanted to create level 1 DAG .py because It is a Python code, right? So .py. Okay, level 1 DAG.py. Py means Python code. This is based environment where you wanted to create it. For now, I wanted to create it on top of the. Okay, no, not here. Let me create it somewhere in the. I'm gonna create it here. Composer 2. I'm gonna create it here. Okay. So I'm creating my file in my local level 1 DAG.py. So first thing, as you know that what is our first step, sir? Speak up. Importing modules. What is second step? What is the third step? What is the fourth step? Okay, so this is what it is. Now, first step is, sir, if you wanted to, so what is your requirement for this one? What you wanted to do? Sir, I wanted to do move the data from the GCS to BigQuery. Okay, this is my GCS. I'm going to say this is my GCS. This is my BigQuery. And I have one bucket here, bucket 1, and I have a file 1 here. Okay, this file 1 I wanted to move it to bucket 2, sorry, dataset, some dataset name called dataset 1, and I wanted to move it to some table 1. Okay, this is what we wanted to do. Okay, I think this is the requirement for us. Okay, for that one, I need an operator. So because I wanted to do this activity using the Airflow or a composer, I wanted to do this activity using the composer. Okay, so for that one, I wanted to do this activity using the composer. For that one, I wanted to go to the Airflow documentation and find the operator first, because I do not know what is the operator. So GCS to BigQuery operator. Okay, GCS to BigQuery operator. You can go here, Airflow providers, Google Transform GCS to BigQuery operator. Click on it. So you see here, it loads the files from, see here the operator GCS to BigQuery operator. It loads the files from Google Cloud Storage to BigQuery. How do you use it? Okay, if you wanted to use it, so you can see here, you can move a CSV file, JSON file, Avro file, Google Sheets, data store backups, Parquet files, all of these things you can move it. All these allowed formats are these things only. Okay, if you wanted to see, look at this, click on the source, and they might have already done it here. One of the tasks will be, might be, no, and this is not a task, I believe. These are not tasks. Okay, not this one. So if you wanted to see, if you wanted to see the sample code for that operator, you can see here. For more information how to use this operator, take a look at this guide and click on this thing. Okay, I'm going to click on open new tab. See here, for the load CSV file, all the examples are here. JSON file, delimiter via delimiter, all of these things are here. You can use it and using this thing. Okay, load CSV. If you still wanted to see the full code of it, you can click on this thing. Okay, you can see here. First thing, importing the modules. So I need to have this operator. Okay, I need to have an operator. Before that, so whenever you are working with the Airflow, first you import the Airflow. Okay, you import the Airflow. And from the Airflow, you import the DAG. This is the first thing that you should remember. From Airflow, import DAG. Okay, these are the two things These are the common things because we are working in the airflow environment and we need to create the DAG. These are the common things. Next thing, sir, I wanted to work with one of the operator, that is this one. Okay, from airflow, copy this thing and paste it there. Copy that thing and paste it here. Okay, from airflow providers, Google Cloud, transfer GCS to BigQuery. I want this operator. Okay, I wanted to do this operator. Later, you wanted to define the task, right? So for defining the task, how many tasks you have, we have to define it. We have to define the DAG as well. So let us try to define it one by one. Okay, first task is, first I wanted to define the DAG. So with the DAG, because we already imported the DAG here, with the DAG, start the bracket, and you mention the DAG ID. The DAG ID can be, I told you, right? We have to mention the DAG ID. The DAG ID I wanted to mention is level 1 DAG. This is my DAG ID. I wanted to mention level 1 DAG. Okay, level 1 DAG composer. Okay, composer. I wanted to mention level 1 DAG composer. And after that, we can mention scheduling interval. Some, as I told you, right? Some scheduling interval if you wanted to mention. Schedule interval. All of these things also you can copy, sir. You don't need to write anything. Okay, just you have to know. So you see here. Okay, you can also use this thing. Here the schedule is mentioned once. Okay, if you don't want it to mention once, you can also mention many things. Okay, here only mentioned one task only. There can be one more task. Sorry. Here also once means as soon as the composer is created, it will run once. Only once it will run. But instead, I wanted to mention the time schedule interval when it has to run. So we are going to follow. For scheduling interval, we are going to follow when this pipeline has to run. Okay, I wanted this pipeline to run at 5:30 every day, 35 every day. Okay, so what is this format? This is a cron job format. What is this one, sir? It is a cron job format. For the cron job format, if you wanted to check it, cron job format, go to images and you'll be able to see what is this cron job format. The cron job format is here. Okay, it's not bigger one. Yeah, here it is. The first star indicates the minutes. The second star indicates the hour. The third star indicates the day of the month. In that, all these are numericals only, sir. All these stars should be numericals only. So minutes 0 to 59, hours 0 to 23. Day of the month, what is the date? Okay, date. Next month, next week. Okay, all of these things you can mention it here. Okay, day of the week. So first minutes, hours, date, month, week. Okay, so all these things are here. You can also look at later. So this is we call as a cron job format. Okay, I'm keeping it here for you. Okay, so now I wanted to run at 5:30 every day. Can you guys tell me the cron job format? 5:30 every day. 30 minutes, 5 o'clock every day. All stars every day, every month, every week. Okay, so this is what it is. Once the scheduling information is also done, if you have any default arguments, you can also mention those default arguments. Some default arguments, if you have default arguments. What are those defaults? Earlier we have seen the owner information. If you wanted to add such things, you can add, mention those args. It's a variable. I wanted to define those variable values because it can be many values will be there, right? So one of the value can be, for example, owner information. I wanted to add. Okay, owner information. Owner. I wanted to mention developer. Okay, I wanted to mention developer. And Sir, this is scheduling information is correct. But when this pipeline will start from today, will it start from today? Maybe after next week onwards, maybe after the day, next day, tomorrow onwards. So if you wanted to mention, you can mention the start date as well. Start date as well. Start date I am mentioning date time. I'm using the date time library for this start time because I have to mention the time, right? Date and time. 2023. Today's date I am giving. Today's date I am giving. You see here, date time is not defined. So I want to define this date time. So that's a module, right? So we have to import that module. So from date time import date time. Okay, date time is good. See here, date time is good. You can have some kind of yellow marks here, but you should not be having any of the errors here, guys, in the code, because modules may not be imported into my VS Code. Okay, but that will be available in the, if you have imported here, that means it will not throw any error in the rest of the code. Okay, so this is one thing. Sir, if this pipeline is failed, for example, do you wanted to mention retry it or not? So you can also mention that retry. How many times you wanted to retry? Retries. Sir, if you think that this pipeline is failed, you wanted it to retry. If you wanted to retry once and twice, then you can mention once. And retry delay. So for example, it is failed. After how much time you wanted it to be retried? After some time you wanted it to retry it. What is the retry delay? You can mention something like 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes, but it is a time, right? So time delta I'm going to use for this one. Time delta, that is minutes is equals to 5. After 5 minutes, I wanted it to. See here again, time delta is not defined. Copy this one, comma. It is also coming from the date time only. You can mention it here. Okay, time delta, all of these things are from the date time library itself. Okay, you see here, owner information, start date, and whatever the arguments I have defined it here, I have used it, defined as a variable, and I am mentioning it here. Okay, this is what we call as a DAG, as DAG, as DAG. That's it. This is how we have created the DAG. Now, if you wanted to mention any task, task 1, task 2, task 3. You see the indentation also, it is not starting at this point. You see the indentation. When you click on enter, task 1 has to be started this particular indentation. Otherwise, it will be an error. Okay, indentation also we have to follow. Now, for that one, I wanted to define my task, which I wanted to define it here, right? So this is the same space. Define the task. My task 1 is equals to, I wanted to define my task 1. Okay, the task 1 is, what is the operator, sir? Are you guys following me? Guys, are you guys following me? Yeah, okay, great. So which operator we are using? This is the operator I am using it. Okay, but I do not know how to use it, sir. So in that case, you go to here, and we have already seen somewhere how to use it. You see here, load CSV. I'm just copying it, and I'm gonna paste it here, and I will change the parameters. That's it. Okay, the task is, I wanted to mention this as a task 1. Okay, it will be easy for me. Sorry, task 1. Okay, task 1 is, this is the operator. Have you imported it or not? So for example, if you see, if you don't import it, right, it's gonna throw an error here. See, it is not imported here, not defined. So that's the reason we import it here. Okay, so it's done. So task ID, each task will be defined with the task ID. You see here the indentation is wrong, so it's supposed to start it here. Okay, so that means all of these things, all of these steps has to be completed here, space. Now here and here, here also you can see the same thing, right? Here also you can see the same thing. So when you click on enter here, automatically it will start here. All the load CSV task will be having here. Likewise, I have also mentioned the same thing here. Let me go here. The example GCS to BigQuery example is my task ID. What is my task ID, sir? GCS to BigQuery example. And bucket name we have to mention, sir. Sir, I wanted to create, or I wanted to take one of the CSV file from one of the bucket. Let me go to all these things. I'm closing it. Let me go to the cloud storage, and from the cloud storage, I will take one of the bucket. Maybe if I have source buckets, if I have any files, CSV files. Yeah, I think I have here CSV order items. I'm going to click on it, copy this file. I'm copying it. Okay, copying this path. So, but we need only the bucket name, right? So I'm going to just to copy the bucket name, and you go here. The bucket name only we need it. The bucket name I'm pasting it here. Okay, the bucket name I'm pasting it here. Then this is bucket name, but we need also the file name, nothing but a source object. So the source object with including the path, including the folders also you have to mention it here. Inside this bucket, where is that particular file? So inside that bucket, it is only inside here only. Directly it is here. So I'm going to copy that particular path. Okay, you don't need to mention anything because it does not have any folders. If it is having folders also, you have to mention it here. But it is directly straightforward. Inside this bucket, it is this file. Okay, and as I told you, right? So bucket task ID, bucket ID, source object, and destination project data set name, table name. Data set name and table name we have to mention. These are the variables they have created. I will also define this as a variables only. I'm going to define this. So you can use here for variables. Okay, whatever the variables if you wanted to define it, right? It's the best way of doing it. So this is data set name, variable, and this is a table name because you need not to mention all the time. Okay, so for this one, I would say data set name and I would say table name. My data set name, I wanted to move this data to some BigQuery, right? I'm going to open the BigQuery also. Which data set we have to move it, right? So that also we have to ensure it. Okay, no, this is having many. I wanted to move it to here, and I would just say the table name, the data set is example data set. I'm going to copy this thing. This is my data set. Okay, I will go to here and I will mention in the quoted data set name. The table name, it's your choice, right? The table name you are creating, and the table name you will mention as level 1 underscore DAG. Okay, the table name is level 1 underscore DAG table. Okay, so this is what it is. The table name is this one. So you have created a variable and you have used it here. This is how whatever the variables you have defined, you can able to use it here like this. Okay, yeah. Schema is also you have to define it. Let me open that orders.csv because the schema for this particular file only, right? Orders.items.csv. For that one, we have to define the schema. The schema we have to define it properly. So for that one, let me open that file and we'll try to create the schema. Let me take the employee, sir. Okay, let me take the employee file. I may not be having that particular file. Okay, do I have employee? No. So let me keep this file here. I have created the employee file here. Okay, where is this? This is the file name. I'm going to copy it. Okay, because I will open that file now. Okay, this is the file. Okay, even it is having more columns comparatively. The file name I am changing it. This is not orders.csv. This is employee.csv. We have to define the schema for that one. Okay, we have to define the schema for that one. And first, you look at here. How many columns are there? This many columns are there. I'm going to copy that column names. I'm going to paste it here first for reference only. And I have to create the schema. This is the column 1, column 2. Likewise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Total 7 columns are there. So 1, I'm going to define it. Okay, I'm going to define it. Sorry. 6, 8 it came, but I need only 7. Okay, So this is the column name. Name of the column is employee ID. Copy it. No, don't copy. Control X. Paste it. Next first name. Next last name. Next email. Next department ID. Next salary. Next join date. Okay, so all the columns we have defined it properly. Employee ID first name. This is the column name. Next type, data type. What is the data type? You can mention any of the data type. For now, I am mentioning the string. If you wanted to change it to the integer, first name, email, also string, department, salary, you can mention float or something. It's your choice. Okay, mode is nullable. I have mentioned it's your choice if you wanted to change it to some other also. Okay, now the schema field also we have defined it properly. And right disposition is equal to right truncate. Okay, right truncate. It is done. Okay, so this is how we have defined the task. Okay, this is how what we have done, sir. From this particular employee.csv to this table inside the BigQuery, we are loading the data. From this bucket file to dataset and table, we are going to. The schema also we have defined it properly. Okay, so let us try to mention, save it. And next is final step is define the dependency. How many tasks are there? Only one task. You can mention the task. Yeah. You can mention the task one here. Okay, so imported Airflow, imported the DAG, imported the operators, imported the libraries related to the time delta, defined the data set and tables, variables, and some arguments, defined the DAG properly, defined the task properly with the operator, and as I told you, operator needs parameters like bucket, source, object, data set name and table name, schema, fields, and right disposition. Minimum operators, parameters, and task one. Okay, dependency. So I'm going to save it. Okay, this particular DAG has to go where, sir? This particular DAG has to go where? Has to be there in the DAG folder, right? I'm going to click on this DAG folder. The DAG folder will open. I will upload my file here. I'll upload my file here. Okay, so I have, this is the airflow, right? So I'm going to copy the devil one DAG and pasting it here, dragging and dropping it. Okay, dragging and dropping it here, sir. Upload started. Uploaded successfully. Level 1 DAG.py. Okay, so that means if it is here, automatically web server will pick it up in next second or next 1 minute. Okay, let us wait for some time. Okay, so meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, in next 1 minute it will be picked up by the DAG, and let us wait for some time. If anyone have any questions, you can ask me. Sorry. That you can do. I will tell you. Yes. That I will tell you. Trigger diagram operator is also there. So if you wanted to mention some DAG, if you wanted to trigger it, or one parent DAG is there, you have a child with 4 to 5 DAGs, and you wanted to mention the DAG dependency one by one, you wanted to mention, that can also be done. Yes. That I will tell you. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone? So there is some error. Let's see. See here, there is a error. That means the DAG is broken. Let me look at the DAG. So what is the error? Type error. Unexpected argument. Sorry. Unexpected keyword argument, default arguments. Oh, the spelling is wrong. Guys, you see here. You should supposed to tell me these kind of a things. Where is that? Yeah, here it is. Do you think that the spelling of the default is correct? Guys, all right. So default is this one. Okay. So control yes. I'm gonna go to here. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna re-upload it. I'm gonna re-upload it. Level 1 DAG. This is just now we have created it. Anyone have any questions? Yeah, you see here, level 1 DAG composer. What is the name of the DAG? It was level 1 DAG.py, but that is not the DAG name. This is the DAG name. Okay, so the DAG name will always be the DAG ID. Okay, once you click on it here, once you click on inside the DAG, you can go inside it. Okay, as you know, this is our DAG. It is only having one task, and you can click on the code. You will be able to see the code also. Right, this is your code. Go to the grid, and if you wanted to run it manually, you can click on it, or you can wait until this time. I'm going to click on it manually. Trigger DAG manually. So you see here gray color, that means it is queued, and green color, nothing but it is running. It started running. It is successful, and it is was success because it's a very small task and very small data, right? So that means if you go to here, refresh it here, see level 1 DAG table is created. You have all the columns, and the data is also 10 records. You see here, data is also created. So this is how you can able to load the data from the GCS to BigQuery. Okay, any questions? Which? No, you can't edit. It's an environment. You can't edit anything here. Okay, the code is here. Okay, you can't edit in the cloud storage, right? And you can't edit here also. Here you can't edit. Anything can be edited here. Yes. Okay, it's just for your display purpose only. Okay, correct. Correct. You have to push your code to the DAG folder, and then only it will be working. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Of course. Of course. That I will tell you. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop here the session for today. I think we have spent a lot of time today, and we will see rest of the things tomorrow. And don't forget to delete your environment because it is very costly. It will eat up your entire money, free credits. So delete your environment once it is done. BigQuery cloud storage, it is fine. It will not be costly. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you all. Have a great day. All the information is also here. So if you wanted to learn if you want some theoretical concept, you can see here. And what is our airflow architecture? What is a DAG? How to define it? Everything is here. For the DAG, this is a revision where you can able to see for your developing why you want it. All of this information is here. You can see here. So importing, defining the task, defining the relationship, all of the information also here. Just look at it. You will be having a data here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye.